Okay, so one of my hobbies is RC cars and things like that. And one of my favorite types is crawlers. They're a lot of fun. I got two here. One is actually not mine. This one's not mine, it's my friend's. But we bought them at the same time. We like to go out together, and it's a fun little activity or hobby because I have my fast truggy cars, and you know they're fun to zip around, but you gotta have a lot of space, you gotta have a lot of room, you gotta have a good area where you're not gonna destroy them. These are cool because you can find a pile of boulders or a pile of rocks or a wood pile and just kind of stand there and have fun and just talk and pick good lines and crawl around and get places you wouldn't really think an RC vehicle could get. These two they're both from Redcat Racing, I think is the company. We bought them about 3 years ago. This one is the Rockslide RS10, and this one is the Everest 10. And they're about like this. They have a lot of different. They're a lot different. This one became first, and this was kind of the follow-up to it that everyone thought was going to be better. But they both have their pros and cons. I'll start with the Everest 10. This is the one that I actually own that I like a lot. The pro is it's got a beast of a motor. It's just got a torquey, heavy-duty brushed motor in there. You can see it kind of in the side. It's got, you know, really, really big gear in there, and it's just a tank. It gets the job done. It can't really. I've never actually had it stall out or bog down. It's got great suspension. It's kind of all locked in. It's got about almost 2.5 inches of suspension straight down. The only problem with this is it can't be adjusted. So this one right here, the Rockslide, has adjustable suspension. I can adjust them along these rods right here. Only problem is this causes a weird issue where sometimes you bottom out and like every once in a while, if they get loose, you'll start seeing the shocks kind of wobble back and forth, and it just kind of makes it weird. In fact, you can see this one back here as I move it. It wiggles quite a bit. And that just happens. It needs a lot more tune-up than this one does. This one you kind of set it and forget it. You can buy different shocks, different lengths. But once they're set there, you don't have to do much. There's not too much adjustment that you need to do to make it work great. One of the other cons to this one is it comes with just 2-wheel steering. And but the upgrade is pretty easy. The holes are already there for another servo, and all the pieces are on their website. And you can and the remote is already set for 4-wheel steering if you just buy the pieces to do it. Another con is this one has a high center of gravity. You can see the difference in these two, where the battery is mounted and where the motors are mounted. This one's got a dual motor. Comes with 4-wheel steering right out of the box too, which is another plus. But its motors and batteries are set really, really low, and so when these two climb, we'll do a demonstration later, I can't lean back as far as this one can. This one can it can climb a lot steeper without falling backwards because everything that's heavy in it is set a lot lower. The problem with the 2-motor setup though is they both are pretty weak. They're not very big, they're not geared down as much. I've seen this one bog down and almost stall, basically the equivalent of a stall out on an electric vehicle, and this one has never done that. Or another problem you'll have is you'll be crawling up something and the front wheels will start spinning and the back wheels will stall out. But mine, since it's got these dual, it's just drive shaft driven, it's not going to do that. If one is spinning, the other's spinning as well. This one, another pro to it is it's set up to where I can change this over to a LiPo by just a couple small adjustments of the wires on here, and it even has on here, it shows me how to do it. It has the, where's it at? Oh, nope. And on here, it'll even show me how to do it. There's some instructions just right here on the speed controller that tell me what to do to make it LiPo compatible. This one you need to, I think you need to buy a low voltage cutoff to make this one even work. This one's set up out of the box to do that. I haven't done that yet because this little, 2,000 milliamp hour battery, this nickel metal hydride one, is not that bad for what we do. It doesn't need a ton of power output to do what it needs to do. Another good one this one has is fan cooled out the box, but I've also never really had this one overheat too much. I don't know how necessary that is, but it is nice to have. The travel, when it's set up, so this one right now is set up out of the box. He hasn't done any adjustments on his shocks, and so right now it's about 1 3/4 inch travel, but like I said, you can adjust these up and down those bars, and you can make it higher or lower depending on what you want. This one has a longer wheelbase by a little over 1 inch, which you think wouldn't matter, but does make a big difference. And it does help when this one is so much when the center of gravity is so much higher on this one. It actually does help to have that little bit longer wheelbase. Both have thread lock tires, which are way nice. This one, since it's the newer version, comes with aluminum thread locks. Mine are just plastic, unfortunately. The newer version of this, if you buy it on their website, does come with aluminum thread locks, though. The suspension on these is great. Both have about 90-degree torsion on them. You can really crank these over and it works. They work great even fully cranked over. It is nice having the battery down this low, but it makes it a pain to get it out. So to get this battery out, I really have to kind of get in there. There's not very many good access points for my fingers to get in there and take the Velcro off, and then I just have to slide it out and kind of finagle it out either from the side or up here in the middle. It's not that much of an issue, but it is an annoyance. For mine, I can almost leave this strapped and just kind of slide it in there and it stays pretty solid. Yeah, so that's the main differences and pros and cons for these two. They both, like I said, if you're an elitist and you want to get it from like a crawler from a known, big name RC car manufacturer, you're probably going to turn your nose up at this. But these Redcat guys, they make good stuff for if you want to get into the hobby, want to get started. This one costs, last I checked, under $150, and I think this one's just a tiny, I can't remember if it's a tiny bit more or a tiny bit less. I'll check the prices. But they're good starters. They come ready to use out of the box. Simple, I mean, you just plug and play. Real quality stuff. We've had these for about 3 years, ran them into the ground. This one only has one shock that kind of bust its, it's a little low on oil and it's a little soft in that back corner. This one I've never had any issues. It's just, and you can see the bottom. It's scratched and beat up. It's been over some stuff. We used to go take these out after work or during lunch to an old steel mill near where we worked that they were tearing down, and piles of concrete, piles of rebar, and crawl around for 30 minutes or so until our batteries got low, and it was a lot of fun. They just, good relaxing activity, get you outside a little bit. So we'll take these out and do a demo, and I'll show kind of the pros and cons in action, and why they and show maybe like and show how they behave in different scenarios. And this is where not having four-wheel steering really hurts. Just positioning is more difficult.
Yeah, the approach.
Yep. You go slow. Not too bad. Let's see how this one does four-wheel steering. And one of the issues is, since these are lock diffs, if I turn too sharp, I can sometimes make it flip itself over just by like that. See how? I can bring the wheel back under that way. This is another issue. You can see it's almost wanting to stall out on one end, but the other end keeps trying to pull or push it. But that was a lot easier to drive up that rock than the two-wheel steering one. It just had a lot less power to do it. But maneuvering, four-wheel steering is the way to go. This thing can maneuver around stuff for days. So a problem a lot of crawlers have is actually dirt. But you'll see with the four-wheel steering, you get a lot more maneuverability on dirt because you can wiggle the whole thing to get yourself some traction that with the two-wheel steering you normally wouldn't. Because I can move my back wheels, and I need to get it on rocks because that's where the grip is at for these. These tires are designed for rock, not dirt. And boom, no problem. So we'll leave that there. We'll get the two-wheel one, and you'll see the difference. Yeah, this one has more power but less maneuverability. You can see I can't wiggle my back tires, so it's hard for me to place my back wheels where I want them to go. I need to get them on those rocks, but I can't get them over the side. Eventually I'll grip. I only have my front wheels. I'm kind of hung up there. There we go. So I had to get them on a rock for it to do anything. And then I can't do the cool turns like his can. Once I'm up there. There I am. One cool thing about this car is the different steering modes. So if I were to do four-wheel steering here, I would swing my back end off that rock, which would cause issues. But I can click this, and it changes the steering. So I can do rear wheel steering, which I don't need. Front wheel, crab walk. This is a perfect situation for crab walk. So I can just bring myself away from the edge, no problem, and switch it back to normal four-wheel. Falls backwards. This is the problem with the short wheelbase too, is it'll fall backwards a little easier. Even though his center of gravity is lower, short wheelbase makes a big difference.
Do you see how the front wheels are spinning though and the rear wheels aren't?
Yeah.
It has the split motors, and so it has the same total power, but the back only ever has access to half of that. Now we'll switch over to the other one.
Yeah, so you see those back wheels just don't even spin, the front wheels go crazy. Go. So this one has a longer wheelbase this way, and a lot more power. So 100% of my power goes to all four wheels instead of just each end only getting access to 50%. So you can see the difference is all four of my wheels are still moving and still strong. This is too steep for both cars, but we wanted to just do this as an illustration. It wants to. Yeah, it's gonna slide to the side. See?
Drag it.
Yeah. See, mine's also gonna slide to the side because I don't have that crab walk function, which makes it a little harder. But look at all that torque. I get all of it the whole time for all four wheels. So that's the overview and review of the Rockslide RS10 and the Everest 10 from Redcat Racing. Both great crawlers. Both have their pros and cons. You know, both kind of do different things. They both do it all well though. Or they do the things that they do well, very well. Their cons, there isn't many, but you saw a few. I would recommend these to anyone wanting to start out doing crawling and stuff like that and just kind of get into the hobby. It's a lot of fun. I've had these for years. I mean, this one's Ivan's, the Everest 10 is mine. Had them for about 3 years now and just loved them. Really fun activity. Good for the kids too, because they're not fast, they're not dangerous. They're just good to go out in the woods or out near a rock pile or a wood pile and just crawl around a bit until the battery runs out. Just, you know, good, clean fun. Anyway, making a lot of other videos. Like and subscribe if you want to see more and follow along. I may do reviews of things every once in a while. This is probably not going to be a super common video type. More just fun activities and projects and things I'm building that I think people will enjoy to see. Anyway, thanks for watching.